Hello and welcome back to another video on today and to another edition of NXT 2.0 out of 10. And of course, it's the first episode of NXT since In Your House, and that was quite a dramatic show. We had lots of great matches on there, a few title changes as well, with the tag team titles changing hands, North American title changing hands. So yeah, a lot went on. So let's get straight into the card. Carmelo Hayes kicked off with Trick Williams, celebrated his North American title win. Solo Sikoa came out and congratulated Hayes before reminding him he was next in line for a title shot. Melo said that the deal was between him and the last guy, so no one cared. Solo threatened the champ before Grayson Waller walked out and teamed up with Melo and Trick to attack Sikoa. Sikoa tried to fight back, but he was overpowered by the trio and got stomped out before NXT continued. And yeah, good little storyline this. Sikoa coming for the title, the others frayed. And obviously it leads to something later on in the night. So not a bad start to NXT this, and I'll go more into depth later. In the parking lot we saw Tony D using Legado del Fantasma as his personal assistant. Before leaving, Tony told Santos to get in his ring gear because he had a match tonight. Before he got Josh Briggs versus Von Wagner. Wagner and Briggs went at each other before the bell as the match started. Wagner was in control and sent Briggs outside before sending Jensen's broken arm into the apron. Fallon Henry then got on the apron and distracted the ref while Jensen snuck his cast off his arm into the ring. Briggs hit Wagner in the head with a cast and picked up the win. Did not see this coming with the dominant streak of Von Wagner recently, but you know, it's interesting to see where it goes, so I'll give it 10 to 6 out of 10. Backstage on NXT, Chase U handing a scholarship to their nearest recruit, Thea Hall, when they had a run in Pretty Deadly. Then we got Santos Escobar versus Nathan Fraser. Santos had the advantage locked in a hold, but Tony got up and said, "This is boring, do something else." Escobar was distracted and Fraser caught him with a big move as he rolled outside. Santos was hesitant to get back in the ring, but went back in and tossed Fraser outside before hitting a dive through the ropes. Tony immediately walked up to Santos and said, "Get the move out as your repertoire, no one likes that." Escobar then locked in the sharpshooter and Tony was barking orders from ringside before the former GP had enough and muttered something at D'Angelo. Fraser got a springboard neck breaker and standing shooting star press for a near fall. Escobar then got a super kick and sent Fraser outside before one of Tony's associates handed him a crowbar. Santos then threw the weapon to back before the distraction allowed Fraser to hit the Phoenix Splash to pick up the victory. And this was a really great match. Of course it was between two of the best wrestlers in NXT. So yeah, great match. Gets a 7 out of 10 from me. And yeah, I'm already loving the Escobar and D'Angelo relationship. I think that could be great as the weeks go by. And yeah, very intrigued to see what happens with it. Bron Breakker was out next to Pat on Open Challenge 4. Apollo Crews came out to answer it, but without his accent and Commander Aziz. Apollo said that he would be back to make history and told Bron that he'd see him down the road. I'll go into it more later, but yeah, this is a very interesting development and I like it. We got Tiffany Stratton versus Roxanne Perez. Perez was in trouble early on and was sent outside before Stratton locked in the hole back in the ring. Perez managed to hit a big DDT off the counter and followed it up with an elbow in the corner. Roxanne tried to get a top right move, but Stratton dragged her down by the arm and she fell outside the ring. After a break on NXT, Stratton had the hold locked in on Perez before he got the double knees up from the ropes and unloaded on her. Roxanne then sent Tiffany out and hit a dive before dragging her back into the ring and hitting a corkscrew swenton, but the pin was reversed. Stratton then got the powerbomb but still couldn't get the pin. Stratton went up top, but Perez managed to counter a moonsault attempt before getting the pot rocks and picking up the victory. And yeah, this gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really good match. Probably two of the better women in the women's division. And yeah, it made sense for this to be the breakout final. And for me, it didn't disappoint at all. And we got some post-match shenanigans when Mandy Rose came out and congratulated the winner before telling her to cash in on how it would be a terrible idea. The champ threatened Perez before a brawl broke out between Toxic Attraction and Perez and Cora Jade. Indy Hartwell joined the fight and numbers were evened out before Toxic Attraction were tossed out of the ring. And yeah, that could be an interesting storyline in the coming weeks. We learn that Pretty Deadly had attacked Bailey Hayward backstage on NXT and injured his arm. Wendy Chi was being interviewed when Tiffany Stratton rushed in and yelled about a rematch. Wendy splashed her drink in Stratton's face before working out. Just a bit of fun. Before we got Pretty Deadly versus Andre Chase. Right off the bat, the Pretty Deadly were attacked by Chase. He managed to dominate the former tag team champions for a good minute before the tables turned. Chase was being hit with a double team move as Bodie arrived on the stage seething in pain. Thea Hall then came out and told him not to do it before heading to the ring herself. Hale slapped one of the Pretty Deadly from the apron before Chase got back in control and hit a big slam. Pretty Deadly came back with a kick to Chase's head and hit spilled milk before getting a win. Yeah, it's gone a bit unfair really, but you know, it puts over Pretty Deadly as heels, and it did its job really, revitalising off that loss over the weekend, so probably gets a 6 out of 10 from me. Tony D was backstage with his boys and told Carmelo that he'd have to fall in line with the Don or he would take Melo's titles. Before we got Alba Fire versus Taysom Paxley, Payson managed to roll Alba up early on and took a big slam. Fire then got a near fall off her own. We then got a bunch of reversals from both women before Alba got the Corey bomb and a huge senton and picked up the quick W. Lash Legend attacked Fire on the ramp while she was celebrating, taunting her as she was lying on the floor. To be honest, this kind of just felt like there compared to everything else on the show, so it does get a 5 out of 10 from me. Being honest. Backstage at NXT, it looked like Diamond and Mines were back to being friends again. Inofi and Blade appeared to be an ask for a title shot, and the Creed brothers agreed to it. Roderick Strong got really upset at them for accepting the challenge and said they made a big mistake before walking out. And then it was time for the main event. Solo Sikoa and Apollo Crews versus Waller and Hayes. Waller and Solo kicked off the match, and Apollo was tagged in early on. Crews then hit a massive standing vertical suplex and took Waller down. Melo was tagged in and dropped Crews in the ring before locking a submission hold, but Crews lifted him up and tossed him away. Solo then came in and sent both opponents outside before Crews hit dive on him. After a break, Chicken tried to interfere but was knocked off the apron before Solo was isolated by the heels. Apollo then was tagged in and hit a big sequence of moves with on Grayson before getting a near fall. Solo hit a super kick on Hayes and sent him outside before Waller tried to get the rolling cutter on Crews. Apollo reversed it into a powerbomb and picked up the win. This gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Really, really fun match. The right result coming out on top for me. It creates an interesting dynamic with the North American title, especially at the moment, and the NXT title. Really good stuff. 7 out of 10. And Apollo Crews, I saw him chasing for the 24/7 title on Raw a few weeks ago, and it made me really depressed because he's so good, and hopefully this is the chance to revitalise his career. I'm looking forward to it. 7 out of 10. Overall, NXT this week gets a 7 out of 10 from me this week. I'm going to get it. This was a really, really good show this week, and hopefully they can build on it. It kind of felt like all the fallout from InYourHouse works. Lots of intriguing storylines going on at the moment. Title divisions getting crowded. Just in general, a really, really good show. I haven't been able to say that about NXT a lot recently. So good stuff. And Apollo Crews is back. I'm so intrigued to see what he can do. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks very much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Let me know what's comments down below. Follow on to the link description for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to the channel. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.